Animal existence remains grounded in the present, where every movement and reflex responds strictly to the immediate physical environment. Once the threat of a predator or a storm fades, the animal's neurological stress dissipates entirely. Its biology resets to a state of present-tense equilibrium. A person physically safe from predators can still be paralyzed by internal panic, their mind racing through invisible psychological threats. This panic lives in the abstract. We agonize over past social friction or spiral into dread regarding cosmic future events that haven't actually occurred. We are the apex predators who won the evolutionary lottery, yet we possess a sentience that seems to actively torture us. Prehistoric survival demanded more than just speed or strength. It required the unprecedented ability to project the mind into the future, to prepare for distant threats, like the arrival of a harsh winter. The human brain constantly simulates multiple future scenarios from our current state. This cognitive upgrade forces the brain to simulate hazards that haven't actually happened. We generate stress responses for problems that only exist as mental data points. To simulate the future, the brain must place the self into these mental models. Eventually, the timeline extends past our biological limits, forcing the mind to visualize a future where its own presence ends, a realization known as mortality salience. Chronic anxiety functions as the mandatory biological tax we pay for the ability to foresee and avoid danger. Our focus also turns backward. Episodic memory developed as a high-fidelity tool for encoding failures, with enough emotional intensity that they can never be forgotten. Evolution prioritized negative information because remembering a past mistake was often the only way to avoid a fatal one. This feedback loop illustrates the side effect. Because the brain lacks a mechanism to delete the emotional weight of these memories, we are trapped in a state of continuous mental replay. Rumination and guilt are the heavy prices paid for the vital capacity to learn from our history. To dominate their environment, humans relied on complex tribal networks, making social cooperation as vital for survival as finding food. Navigating these groups required theory of mind, the cognitive ability to model and predict how other members of the tribe perceive our actions. The brain tracks social hierarchy by constantly monitoring the central ego status relative to every peer node in the network. This pressure creates the crushing weight of shame and fear of social isolation, biologically driving us to curate our identities to avoid rejection. The ego serves as the engine that forces us to maintain our life-saving place within the tribe. We cannot return to the blissful ignorance of the animal. The machinery of our sentience is permanent. Understanding the biological origin of this machinery changes how we interact with our own existential dread. Panic and grief confirm the cognitive machine is operating exactly as intended. They are feedback loops designed to keep us alive. The exact same neural architecture generating mortality salience also processes deep joy, empathy, and art. The burden of sentience is heavy, but it is the non-negotiable price of admission for everything beautiful in the human experience.